morning, Diane Roberts here. Welcome. For those of you who have been before, welcome back. For those who are new, welcome. I'm Diane Roberts. This is my knitting vlog. I have a knitting vlog. I have a greeting cards vlog, stamping. I also have a quilting vlog on YouTube, and I'm soon to start a floss tube because, yes, I fell into the hole of counted cross stitch again. Okay, so I'm Diane Roberts on YouTube. I'm Roberts108 on Ravelry, and I'm Canned Music on Instagram. So hello. As everyone says, it's been a minute. I don't want to say it's been a minute. It's been more like 2 minutes. And if each minute of those 2 minutes equals 1 day, that would be 60 days. That would be 2 months. Who wants math? Forget about it. It's been a while since I've recorded. It's been a long, hot summer during this COVID time frame. Pretty much still staying home most of the time, although I have gotten out once to go meet my knitting friends in a group called Espresso Knitters. I was there with them last Sunday. I missed the first week. They've been actually meeting outdoors with masks, and it's wonderful. It's really nice to be able to see people and talk about what we're doing. So I'm here, and it's mostly a sock knitting podcast, mainly because I've learned that I'm not much of a knitter in the summertime, in the summer heat. I don't have the motivation. But I set out for 2020 to knit a pair of socks every month, so I have to say I am on schedule. I've shown my January, February, March, and April socks. I put them all out here because I didn't remember which ones I may have communicated. So I think I have to show you May, June, July, August, and September. Wow, has it really been that long? Not sure. So first let me show you these. These are called the Cirrus socks. It is a pattern by Helen Stewart, and I think this part here is nice and fluffy, looking like cirrus clouds. This is, I can't even tell you what this yarn is. I don't know what it is. I got it when I first started knitting a couple of years ago, and I was just buying sock yarns thinking I would make socks, and I never really made up those socks. So during COVID I was trying to use up stash. So this is a pair. This might have been some kind of cascade. Okay, so that was January, February, March, April. That was May. June, I believe, were my Croy black and white stripes, again from stash. And these are just a vanilla sock pattern. This was a Knit Picks pattern that I learned to make socks with. Knit Picks, anyway, you can either start cuffed down or toe up. I love cuff down. That's just the way probably because it was the first one I did. So this is a cuff down. The thing about this pattern though, it's more of a, what do they call this kind of toe? It's not a rounded toe. It's more of a, this kind of a toe, pointy. Well, that's fine and it feels good, but I don't like the way it looks so much. So in May, June, July, I started my socks very late in the month, and so I decided to make the shorties. Let me look up which ones these are. These are something City Rollers, right? Where are these short socks? I had the page, but I left it on the Helen Stewart socks. Must be the next page. I'm sorry. Something City Rollers, and they're short socks, and they're fast. I thought they were fast, but they weren't that fast. I thought because the rolled cuff would, I thought they were going to fall down, you know, be falling down on me. I haven't actually worn them, but I tried them on and they're fine. They're above where my sneakers are. So I think, here they are. I'm sorry, it's under R. Rose City Rollers. They're very cute. They're on Ravelry. They're by Mara Catherine Berner. Berner. So they look, whoops. Picture came too big. I haven't learned the iPad very well yet. Never mind. This is what they look like. This was Bernat yarn, leftovers. I had tried to make a pair of socks out of this yarn when I first started knitting, and they were so huge. I rolled the balls, I frogged them and put them away. So now I have a nice short pair. And the best thing about the Rose City rollers is that you have a choice of toes, and they do a rounded toe. And so I did the rounded toe, and I like it very much. So I've decided to create my own vanilla sock pattern with what I like as far as how much ribbing I'm willing to do. I have this little tiny notebook, and this is going to be my sock knitting notebook. And I put in what I should cast on for myself, how I turn, because it's vanilla socks, that's all it is, but I don't have it memorized. Like when you get to the heel flap, I kind of know what to do, but I need to know how to start it off. Then to turn the heel, I've written that down. And then the gusset, the gusset decreases. And then I realized that my foot has to measure 7 3/4 inches with a rounded toe. It only has to measure 7 1/2 inches with that other pointed toe. So these are the things you can figure out for yourself, and then just keep a little cheat sheet. And the rounded toe is wonderful. I like it the best. So I put all the details in here for the rounded toe, and then it's just Kitchener stitch for the end, which I am happy to say I have finally memorized. I have you know, the little keychain, the Kitchener stitch keychain by oh, come on, you know who I mean, the burnished wood. It's there. I'm going to remember it when I stop trying to force it. I'll remember it in a minute. I know you're all yelling it to me. Well, I couldn't find my little... Oh, it should be attached into this. It should be on my knitting. Yeah, Katrinkles. I'm sorry. I should have remembered Katrinkles. Well, I couldn't find my Kitchener little cheat thing. And it was time to... It was time to do the toes on my August socks. Again, Croy. Stuff I had purchased at Michael's when I first started knitting. Rounded toe. Love it. These aren't blocked yet because I was kind of late into September when I was doing my my August socks. Fell over into September a bit, but they're done. And I found, when I didn't find my Katrinkles cheat sheet, I went ahead and did the Kirchner stitch just fine, just fine. There are a bunch of videos out there about the Kitchener, I say it wrong, Kitchener stitch, regarding the little dog ears that you can get when you're finishing it off. And I was watching Chevy Rell, Chevy's Stuff is the name of it, Chevy Rell Stuff. It's her podcast. She's a real riot. She used to be a roller derby girl. She's just amazing. Well, anyway, she's a little rough. If you don't like a rough podcast, you might not want to watch her, but she's cool. And she loves her drinks. She says, get your drink before she starts her podcast. Anyway, she said that all you have to do to avoid the dog ears is to not do the prep. You know, the first purl to the front and knit in the back. If you don't do those, she says you won't get the dog ears. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. I think I'm going to look it up. What I do is I just pull it real tight and weave it into the inside of the side of the sock. So now, again, from my stash for September, we're using Croy, Patton's Croy, and this is called some kind of gray, right? It is called Gray Mauve. This is my favorite sock to wear. This is my favorite because it just, to me, that is the definitive wool sock. That is the traditional. That is, when I think of a wool sock, I'm going to think of a sock. And at least, even though it's September 17th, I'm already past the middle of the month, but at least one of them is cast on and I've got the ribbing done and I'm into the stockinette. I haven't been doing the fancy pattern socks over the summertime because I don't have that knitting mojo going. But I did manage to keep up with my socks. My socks are in my Halloween project bag because, let's face it, Halloween isn't long enough, so I'm going to use it all of September and all of October. And this one happens, I got this one from a maker called A Single Strand. I saw them at the New England Fiber Fest in Springfield, Mass. last year, which I'm sure won't be happening this year. And they also had what they called a project, I don't know, project thing, project. So what I've done is I keep my two 9-inch circular needles in here. I keep a set of size 1 double points because I do use the double points towards the end. I have my tape measure I need for my measurement of the 7 3/4 when I'm almost done my sock. My Kitchener cheat sheet, and then a few of my favorite kind of stitch markers to use, and that's my little sock kit that I'm going to be keeping in the bag for when I start my October socks. Okay, that's all the sock news. Now I've been faithfully watching the Crafty Toads. I think they're the coolest ladies. They're so good. So I watch them, and since this COVID thing, they've been podcasting just about every day. It's only been recently that they started taking Sundays off, but they're workaholics, those two. They work. But anyway, they have what they call the Tri-Wizard Tournament after the Harry Potter series, in which they it's a knit-along for the months of June, July, and August. You had until Labor Day to complete the projects in June. And the way they score, you know, you can get points for participating, and there will be prizes once they finish and do the tallying. They haven't done the tallying yet, but they've been very busy with 2 virtual shows that they just participated in, as well as they've begun to carry fabric, which is of interest to me because I'm a quilter and a stitcher. Anyway, the June challenge was a hat. And I was supposed to bring those. Oh, I do. I will have them on my iPad. I was supposed to get the patterns, but I should have them here. Okay. So they would be in my projects. I think I'm going to be able to find these. The first was a hat, and what they did was they provided both a knitting and a crocheted hat. And if you participate, you get 5 points. If you finish the project, you get 5 points. If you use Toad Hollow yarn, you get another 5 points. And then if they like anything in particular about you, they might give you another 5 points. So the first one for the I did by Christy Ashmore. It's called the Lacy Tam, and I used the Princess Bride collection, and the colorway is Marriage, and this is Toad Hollow yarn. It's a tam. Oh, I can't put it on, I'm so warm. But anyway, this is the crocheted tam. The yarn is lovely, the colors are lovely, the texture is lovely. I just like it so much. And then there was also the choice of doing the it was a Harry Potter reference. Let me go to my projects. That's where all this stuff lives. I'm not good with the iPod yet. I can't see. Well, the next one was knitted. It was also a Harry Potter reference. It was the town in which Harry's parents came from. I should know it. Previous page, come on. Sorry for all the delay. It would be, began with an H. I might as well just look under the H's. G's, H's, H-O, I think it was. And I can't find it. Hodge. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it in my notes because this is terrible in case you like it. This is that hat made in another Princess Bride collection, Crafty Toads. So that was the June project. The July project was Hermione's Everyday Mitts for the knitting. And here those are. Those are in, this was a mystery yarn that I bought from the Crafty Toads. And I didn't know what I was buying, but as it turns out, it matches my hat very nicely. So I got the Hermione's Everyday Mitts. And then that was June, July. The August project, the August project was called the Witch's Brew Cowl. And I'm just going to put it in so that I can show it to you. Nope, it's not finding it for me. The Witch's Brew Cowl, and I'm going to put that maker's name in my notes. And the Witch's Brew Cowl is kind of cute. I used Illusion as the color of the cowl, and I just used I used some leftover yarn I had to do the snake. Can you see the snake? This is actually all witch references. The bottom, they're calling Eye of Newt, and then the next section has bats and brooms. And then that next section is spider webs and eggs. There are spiders here and here. Spiders alongside where you tack on the snake, and then the top is called, what's that top called? Bubble or something like that. So it's a witch's cowl, and it's kind of cool. I can't put it on. You can see how warm I am probably. So I finished all the Try Wizarding projects. So even though I wasn't much with my Knitting Mojo, because if I do a sew along, a knit along, I'm more into getting my stuff done. I need some kind of motivation. Mostly this summer I've been quilting, and I picked up cross stitching, as I've already mentioned. Now some of my whips those were all my finished objects since the duration, and the only thing that's actually, I've got 2 whips. This I haven't shown since probably January, and I haven't worked on it. I worked on it a bit. I am making the Weekender. So I have this much of the front done, and I have this much of the back done. No, wait a minute. Yeah, this much of the back here. Here it is. The back. It's the Weekender. It's reverse stockinette, but I don't want to wear it that way. I want to wear it stockinette stitch out. So what I've done is I'm just reversing it, and I'm not putting the stitch up the middle. I'm not putting the slip stitches in it. I just want it to be a stockinette sweater, the Weekender. And this is yarn I got last year at Rhinebeck. It is, I know what it is. Yes, I know what it is. And I might be running out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I think that's another reason why I haven't been working. So I think is it Harris? I'll put this information in the bottom, but I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but can you see where I have been knitting and purling on the top, but I was only doing in the round on the bottom? There's definitely a demarcation line. I think when after, they say, oh, that all comes out in the blocking. We will see. It might be okay, because if I put it up against me and look down, I don't mind it. And if I don't mind it, I'll wear it if I finish it. As it gets cooler at night, I'm probably going to start knitting this if I'm not cross-stitching. So I have that, and my only other thing I got going on is the Northeasterly. This is great. I'm really liking this, even though I haven't worked on it very much. But what I've been doing is you can use this pattern to by Skein-Anigans. to use up all your leftovers. And I knit so many socks. Here's a big bag full of, you can see I have all scraps of stuff. And they're pretty good size. Look at how big this one is, or this one. They're all pretty good size, so I should be able to get a good blanket out of it eventually. So what you do is you start off with just one long strip, which that's my initial strip there. And you just keep knitting and knitting and knitting this chevron shape. So you can imagine how quickly it goes. It goes fast, and when you're doing it, it's fun. See the pattern? And if you're using your sock yarn, which is striped, you get some interesting patterns. And I'm not doing it according to color, or all I'm doing is making sure it's fingering yarn. I shouldn't say that. I use fingering yarn for socks, but I also use that Croy stuff, and that's a little thicker. So then, as you're knitting, when you go into your second panel, you just hook it. You hook it in while you're knitting. Gives you that connect. Let's get these threads out of there, these yarn strands. See, it just kind of connects up. You knit in, it's very nice. So, goodbye ends. And as you knit along, you knit in your ends when you start a new color. And you put everything together that way, so you don't have a ton of ends at the end of the project. I think that's what I like the best. So I'm knitting my length right now. I can go along knitting my length, and I haven't finished this panel, but what I've done is just skewered the ball onto my needle, put some holders on it, and that'll stay. It's been working pretty good, and I've just been knitting this because at first I knit that far on the first panel, and then I said, oh, I want to see what it's like to start the second panel. So I started the second panel and went along, and then I said, oh, I think I want to start figuring out how long I want this. So I went back to the first panel. But it's like, even though it's just one thing, you have a little bit of variety there. So I have tons of colors in this big bag, because look how big this bag is. You can tell there's a lot of yarn in there. Those are my two whips to show me my finished socks. The only other thing left is acquisitions. I have a skein that I purchased. I attended a virtual festival. It was the Fiber World 2020. Is that what the name of it was? Fiber World 2020 festival. I don't know what it was called. Fiber World. It was called Fiber World 2020. I don't know if there was like a yarn fest or whatever after it. I've already undone this skein. I should have put it back together more nicely. This happened to be, I saw the Louisiana Yarn Guys, and I just like that name for a yarn company. They're in Shreveport, Louisiana, and they had kind of a snazzy logo, and I saw their little logo there, and I said, I'm going to visit those guys. So I visited them, went into their shop. It's all virtual, but I'm telling you, virtual shows are great. This one was great, the Fiber World, because there was something going on all the time in multiple stages that I actually got tired of looking at stuff, and you know, I think probably because it's all online, it's more fatiguing. Because you're constantly focused as opposed to walking around and just like zoning out. So anyway, I got into their shop, as they call it, virtual shop, and they were having a trivia contest. And so I answered a question right when I got in. I knew the answer because it was crocheting, and I'm more of a crocheter than knitter. So I answered the question right away, and they gave me $10 off a skein of yarn. Well, $10 off of anything I would have wanted to purchase. So I got these are going to be my Thanksgiving socks, so they look like fall to me. So these are going to be November, September. I've got my September going, these are my November. So I just need October and December, so I need 2 skeins of yarn. So this was an acquisition. Their yarn is very nice. Their base is similar to the Toad base, which I don't know how to describe it except that it's, I think it has I don't know if it's a tighter spin. It's more together. The fibers have a lot of twist to them. And because of that, you don't get splitty stuff. You're not splitting your yarn, and I like that because you can go faster if you're not splitting your yarn all the time. That was one acquisition. The other acquisition is I bought a bag. Yes, I bought a bag. I make bags. I don't need to buy bags, but I bought a bag. I watch Knit Style Yarns with the Yarn Boy and Sharon. She's an independent knitter. She's up in New York in the Hudson Valley. And she has a partner called Donna, and Donna makes bags, and Sharon will match the colors, you know, matchy yarns and bags. And I don't really need that because I want to use a bag more than once. I don't buy it from the Yarn Match. But she had these, she showed Donna's bags, and I fell in love with this. It's tarot cards. And then I wanted it and I didn't buy it. But I wanted it, and I said, I'm trying to be more practical and say, you know, you got enough bags, plus you make bags, so I wasn't going to buy it. I didn't buy it. And then I was watching Chevy Rel's podcast, and Chevy Rel, she reads tarot cards. So she had the tarot bag, and I said, that's it, I want it. So it's Donna's Designs. She's on Etsy. I don't know if you can read that. Very well made, very nice. Nice lining. She finishes it off nicely. Yeah, she has a very nice product here, so you won't go wrong. You can check out all her bags. Reasonably priced too. So that's it for my acquisitions. Acquisitions, finished objects, and whips. So that's it for my knitting podcast. Life things, not a lot, a heck of a lot going on. I have new glasses. I have a new crown in my mouth, so I've been keeping up with all my appointments, except for hair cutting. I have worn my hair up all summer, and I put it down today because I thought it was cool. And I walked the dogs, and now I'm very warm, and it's warm in the house, so I'm going to have to put my hair back up. I don't know, if I let it keep getting longer, I won't have to keep getting haircuts all the time because I can tie it up. I'm thinking of going in that direction. As I said, I'm spending most of my time doing some quilting. Cleaning, I'm actually cleaning a lot more than I'm finally getting to the point that I thought I'd be 2 years ago when I retired, like getting things organized. I've been tossing stuff like crazy, but just a small amount of time. I'm not making it a big project. I might do one drawer or one area of a room, and it takes a long time, but after a while you see all your progress, which is yay. So I think that's all my knitting. That's that for now. I thank you all for lasting this long. Hopefully you're going along well in your knitting. I know I've been seeing many beautiful projects out there. My mojo will come back. I'll finish my sweater. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think you get motivated by all your yarn friends, all your knitting friends, and you need the motivation to, I do. I need the motivation to keep going because it's tough times, right? Tough times. So take care, stay safe, 6 feet distancing, hand sanitizer and masks. Take care and go knit something. Bye now.